Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me here today at Scope 2021. My name is Karla Feghali, and I'm a Senior Manager at ConvergeHEALTH by Deloitte. ConvergeHEALTH is an innovation business unit that helps our life sciences and healthcare clients address their biggest challenges with sound strategies and the use of our technology solutions. I have been a part of Deloitte for over 8 years and have worked to help several leading companies build out their real-world evidence strategy, data, and technology capabilities, as well as establish strategic partnerships and operate them. I've also worked with data vendors to help structure their data as well to make it more usable and applicable to pharma. I also co-lead the real-world evidence benchmarking study for Deloitte, which I'm excited to take you through today. In the most recent survey, we saw that early investments in real-world evidence are starting to pay off, and that there's a shift in focus to using real-world evidence in R&D. For those of you not as familiar with real-world evidence and real-world data is any data that's collected on a patient outside of a controlled clinical trial setting. This can include electronic medical records, claims, labs, imaging data, patient-reported outcomes, social media data, or even data that's collected from your Apple Watch on your health. Real-world evidence is the actual output of analyzing this data and its applications to clinical care. The use of real-world data has inclined as pharmaceutical companies continue to face significant pressures. Pressures include the declining R&D productivity. Returns have declined to 1.8% down from 10.1% in just 2010. There's a constantly increasing cost to bring a drug to market, which can easily exceed $2.6 billion. Trials are getting more complex and time-consuming as treatments become more personalized. There are mounting pricing pressures. Public scrutiny on drug prices is at an all-time high. In the US, there have been numerous legislation bills proposed to control pricing. There's a growing demand for the use of evidence, and payers are demanding the value of medicines to be shown in the real-world setting, and reimbursement is transitioning to value-based models. Regulators are encouraging the use of RWE in regulatory decisions. Providers are leveraging RWE to inform clinical pathways and patient care. While real-world evidence has been used in pharma for years, it wasn't until 2016 when the Obama administration signed into place the 21st Century Cures Act, which encouraged the acceptance of RWE for regulatory filings. With more clear guidance, we saw the need to help organizations benchmark their real-world evidence capabilities against other pharma and biotech companies. We conduct the survey with senior leaders who oversee real-world evidence capabilities within their organization. We started our first survey in 2017, and at this time, just saw 54% of respondents investing in real-world evidence capabilities. And keep in mind, these are large organizations in many cases, so I would say about top 20 pharma. By 2018, we saw a sizable increase to 75% of respondents highlighting the usage was of high importance to their organization. In our most recent survey, not only has this number gone up, but 94% of respondents said that the use of real-world evidence in R&D was becoming more critical to their organization. So why did these companies expect an increase in the use of RWE in R&D? Well, more than 40 respondents said that this was due to the additional FDA guidance. There was guidance given in 2017 for medical devices, in 2018 on clinical investigations, 2019 for drug and biologics, draft guidance in 2020, and most recently in late 2020, I believe the November timeframe, the FDA announced 4 grant awards for projects exploring the use of real-world evidence in regulatory decision-making. 80% of our respondents entered into strategic partnerships to get access to new data sources to help them achieve their real-world evidence goals. With RWE remaining a C-suite priority, nearly all our respondents said that they were increasing their investments in talent, technology, and external partnerships. So where do these organizations see top expansion for using real-world evidence in the next 2 to 3 years? Of course, in supporting regulatory submissions, informing design of value-based contracts, augmenting clinical trial design, in particular the use of synthetic control arms, and in identifying drug targets. While there's a ton of potential in the usage of RWE in R&D, many organizations are yet to make the most of its potential. However, those that did invest earlier and have more mature capabilities are already seeing reduced costs in trial execution, reduced trial failure rates, even in reduced costs in post-marketing regulatory commitments. The impact is quite significant for some companies. Almost all of our survey respondents said that they anticipate making better decisions on target products, using RWE in supporting label revisions, and leveraging adaptive trial designs or synthetic control arms. While the usage of real-world data has become table stakes, it's important to understand what differentiates leaders. Leaders have a clear vision and strategy. The use of real-world evidence is part of the C-suite agenda. There's an evidence plan for every product. The use of real-world data is embedded into their team's ways of working, from early research and development through to commercialization. Governance is clearly defined. The use of data is being democratized since there's the right controls in place to ensure that the right people have access to the right data for the right purpose. And of course, governance is lean, so it's not burdensome and not too narrowly focused. The lack of governance in many organizations is what leads them to not be able to access data appropriately, so it is very important to have it in place. In addition, talent is key. Top organizations here, they recruit and retain talent. Talent is data-driven and understands how to utilize data, and those that need to know how to analyze data through tools like R, Python, in addition to SAS. Conducting analyses in-house is becoming more and more common as it allows organizations to retain institutional knowledge, which helps accelerate future analyses. 88% of our survey respondents said that they are increasing spend on resources to conduct more studies internally. Many companies that don't have the staff or the talent to be able to conduct internally are also enabling the technology so that analyses can be conducted internally with staff augmentation. These organizations have the right technology enabled. Almost all have knowledge management capabilities so they can see what data assets they have in their organization and what analyses are being conducted. They have established a data lake and the ability to ingest data assets to leverage self-service and advanced analytics tools. There's an evolution of technology through adoption of cloud computing and flexible and scalable infrastructure to meet the growing demands. We are also seeing emerging data science approaches through the use of advanced analytics, AI, and ML, and intuitive data visualizations to help democratize analytics. To no surprise, 100% of our respondents said they were increasing their spend in technology. Lastly, and very importantly, data. Data is what fuels the engine, and leading organizations view data as currency. They have established a data strategy and ensure that they have access to the right data. So do you have a data strategy? Is your data enabling you to gain the right insights? It is amazing to me how many organizations have the right technology in place, the right executive leadership, and in many cases, the right talent, but they have not put a strategy in place for data and what data they need to bring to help enable the insights that they're looking to generate. Access to data has evolved over the last several years. Data availability has increased and sources are much richer. I view data in 3 tiers. Tier 1 is foundational data. This is large data sets that cover multiple therapeutic areas. They have less complex data models because of the breadth of data therapeutic areas that are covered, and they're good for exploratory analysis. Next is Tier 2. This is therapeutic area specific data. They have much deeper data models, so you can actually dig a lot deeper into the therapeutic area of interest, as well as there's a ton of these data assets in oncology in particular. And then Tier 3, this is transformative data. Often it's accessed and built through partnerships. Lots of disruptors in the space, including non-traditional vendors, are key here. However, it takes a lot of effort to structure the data to be usable. You need to ensure that your team is investing the right time to get the most out of it. When done right, you can truly differentiate your organization. But as I mentioned, it does take a lot of time and guidance to help get these vendors to structure the data to be the most usable format for your analyses. Data is becoming much more readily available, and oftentimes it's easy to purchase too much data, which of course can cost a fortune. Having a clear strategy around insights you're looking for or looking to generate is key. What type of analytics do you want to conduct? Causal, predictive? Does your data allow for these types of analyses? It takes a large quantity of data to train AI and ML algorithms, so you need to make sure that you also have the right volumes for the data sets of interest. It is no surprise that with the wealth of oncology-focused therapeutic area-specific data and organizational leaders entering into partnerships to access novel oncology data, 96% of our respondents stated that RWE and R&D will have the greatest impact in oncology. So do you have the right data strategy to take charge? I hope you found it helpful to understand and see the trends that we've seen in our most recent survey. I wish times were normal and that we could continue this conversation live. I love after presentations, everyone who comes up and speaks, but instead, please find me on LinkedIn and let's continue the conversation there. We're getting ready to design our next survey, so I want to hear from you and want to understand what you want to see in our next survey. How is your organization transforming the use of RWE? Do you have any innovative ways that you want to share? And of course, how has COVID accelerated your RWE capabilities? We have seen that companies that had established capabilities before COVID hit were actually able to react a lot faster and understand the impact of COVID on their business than those that did not have those capabilities. This was particularly interesting in oncology as treatment patterns had significantly changed as a result of COVID. So again, please find me on LinkedIn. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're looking to see in our next survey because we do build this survey out for all of you. And lastly, of course, this research wouldn't be possible without my co-authors. So I would like to thank Jeff Morgan, who is the head of RWE at ConvergeHEALTH, Sonal Shah, who is head of life sciences research at the Deloitte Center for Health Solutions, and Wendell Miranda, who helped us conduct a lot of this research and is a senior analyst as part of the Deloitte Center for Health Solutions. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to continuing our conversation through LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day.